I'm Craig Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact, focused on personal growth, my workbook series, The Knowledge, will help you make changes like you've never made before. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
I'm Coach Margaret.
And today we're going to be talking about signs of gaslighting. So we've been talking a little bit about gaslighting recently because it's really important to understand if somebody's doing this in your relationships, because it's really toxic and abusive.
Yes, indeed.
So we're going to talk about some of the signs of it, and you might want to listen and take some notes here.
Okay. So if you're in an enviable position of possibly living with or being married to a gaslighter, you have to initially trust your gut. If you've just got a little feeling that something isn't right, if something doesn't feel right, if you find yourself angry and sad sometimes, don't know why, pay attention to your feelings, all right? And, you know, your mind can do the same kind of trivializing the gaslighter does. Oh, it's nothing. Yes, it is, if the feeling persists, okay? So take a look at it and give the problem a name, whatever it is, whether you call it gaslighting or whatever name you like for it. Give the thing that doesn't feel right a name. Once you give it a name, then you've got something you can address. One of the suggestions is write down a conversation that you've had with your gaslighter, just so you can remind yourself of the reality, okay? If you have a specific conversation, you can go back and review where, you know, he says, I never said that, I never promised that, blah, blah, blah. It gives you something concrete to look at.
Yep.
So this is in the beginning, when you're just beginning to come to terms with something's happening, okay?
Yep.
Feel your real feelings. They're all you've got right now. Part of the problem with gaslighting is that it results in the victim questioning his or her own thoughts, values, perceptions, or feelings. So you feel all unsettled. Everything that's you is being questioned. Acknowledge that what you feel is what you feel. There are no shoulds with feel, remember. What you feel is what you feel, so that you can take whatever action you need to take to feel better.
Yeah. It seems like the thoughts would confuse the feelings.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
Because you're confused by the thoughts, so it keeps you distracted from the feelings.
Absolutely. Yep. Because what he's telling you and what you're feeling, there's no connection.
Yeah.
Okay. Remember that you may have to give up some things to remain healthy. This person may very well be someone you love and have a relationship with. You may have a lot of wonderful things going on in that relationship, but it's not worth it if it's undermining your sense of reality. Okay? To regain your sense of self, you may have to cut that person off. And I'll just talk for 1 second about a woman I supervised one time when she was finishing up her social work degree. And I had her for like 1 semester. And she had been married to a very wealthy man, who of course looked like the salt of the earth to the community because he coached the Little League, did all that kind of stuff. And she said she remembered one day she woke up and she had, you know, a lovely place to live, everything materially she wanted, etc., etc. But she woke up thinking the price is too high, right? I'm not giving up my sense of self to maintain all this.
Wow.
Okay, but I like the metaphor. The price is too high. Yet, you know, she's looking realistically at both options. She could stay in this situation and live, you know, as a pretty wealthy woman, or she could get out, be poor, and be her real self.
Yep.
And I liked that she spelled out the alternatives. Yeah. Okay, the price was too high. Don't engage in an argument that's clearly a power struggle. This is often very difficult because we want to get our point across and or defend ourselves. And that really is one of the keys. I have a personal friend right now who's trying to do business with a narcissist. And what she cannot do is stay out of the argument he provokes. And every time she gets into it, he wins. All right? If he draws you into the argument and it escalates, then he's already won.
Yep.
All right? So, don't engage in an argument that's clearly a power struggle. All right? Walk away. It's terribly difficult to do. We want to get our point across and we want to defend ourselves. And he's never going to get the point anyway.
Yeah.
All right? All right.
It's just going to make you crazy.
Sure. Get a second opinion. Ask a friend or family member you trust if they think your thinking is as off as your potential abuser says it is. So the poor gaslight lady didn't occur to her to call up a relative or a friend, and she'd been isolated to get a second opinion.
Yep.
All right. And if you find thoughts in your head like, right now, this feels awful, he is driving me crazy, then you need to pay attention to that. And you need to seek help. I'm going to repeat it. The best place to start is your local domestic violence program. They are the pioneers who have figured this out. If this person could become dangerous, you need someone to help you make a safety plan for yourself and your children if you should need to leave quickly. In other words, you have to have whatever you and whatever children you have might need for a couple of days stashed in your trunk. You may need to know how much money is in your bank account. And believe me, there are some men who will very carefully watch that no woman accumulates enough money in her own name to escape. All right? Those games have been played for many, many years. But please do something, because we don't want there to be a domestic violence incident where anyone gets hurt. Okay? And I often hear, don't worry about that, he would never hurt the children. I do worry about that because I've seen many cases where it went from just hurting the wife to the children.
Can you talk a little bit about that, Margaret? Because you do have a lot of experience.
Yeah. I'll often say to women, I worry about you. This guy could turn dangerous at any point. Oh, no, he's a really nice guy. Well, if he's trying to play with your reality, does that still mean he's a nice guy? Well, maybe he doesn't mean it. But it's gone on for years. Anyway, you can have this debate with somebody. It's very hard to acknowledge that the person you love and have been with for a while would actually do these things to you. And often I hear, he hits me, and the minute he hits the children, I'm going to leave.
Yeah.
No, you can't wait long enough for that to happen. He's eventually going to hit you. He already hits you, and he will eventually hit the children some night when he's in a rage or whatever. So no, you can't assume that he will never do that. He doesn't have enough control to not do that.
Yeah.
But I've often heard, the minute he lands a hand on any of the kids, I'm leaving. In the meantime, understand that your kids are hearing the fights. People like to think, I often have people say to me, the kids don't know anything about it. And I know from experience that if I talk to the kids, they'd tell me all about it. All right? Because you can't fool kids, and you can't ask them to live in that kind of an atmosphere either. And kids aren't dumb, and as they start to get older, they're going to tell you that dad is full of old shoes. Yeah. Okay? Or mom, if the case is reversed.
Yep.
All right? I think men tend to get the rap for this more, but it can happen either way. All right? So if you're in a real gaslighting situation, you are in danger. If you'll mess with somebody's reality, there isn't much you won't do. That's a huge thing.
Margaret, have you seen a lot of cases where the woman really believed, I'm not in any danger, and
Yes,
then she was hurt?
Absolutely, yeah. Because it's just so hard to break through the denial. Yes, I'm here and I consulted you and I came to your agency because something isn't right, but I know he'd never do that. No, you don't.
Yeah.
Okay, and we do, because we've seen this play out numerous times. But I think it goes to show you how entrenched the denial is and how difficult it is to give it up. You can be angry at somebody and still love them at the same time. I don't like that he does all these things, but I really love him, and I just don't think he'd hurt the kids.
And then I would guess that the next thing you hear is, well, he hit them, but he said it won't happen again.
Yeah, and it was almost like it was an accident, like
Yeah.
it never happened at all. And at that point, you wish you were in another profession, because it's hard to figure out how to respond to that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, did I not warn you that this could happen? Yes, but it wasn't that bad. Okay, promise me you will report the next incident to me, so we can work together on how bad it was. And have you asked their son or daughter what it was like for them? And most parents will say, oh no, I just want them to forget about it.
Yeah.
No, not a good idea either. All right. So we have to protect ourselves and children,
Absolutely.
even if the price is terribly high.
Ultimately, if you're going to find happiness, it's with somebody that treats you well and loves you and respects you.
Right.
And, you know, don't let your anxiety or fear of being alone or even loving somebody else allow you to stay in a situation
Right.
where you're being mistreated that badly.
And I mean, think about how awful it is to have children and face the situation of possibly being alone.
Yeah,
Okay?
it's scary.
Now, the domestic violence people, and I think at least most places I've ever been, every community now has a domestic violence agency. And they're available 24/7, and they are the experts at trying to help you come to terms with this. But safety has to be first. And when we think about the traumas some people suffer, if you've got a parent who hits you once or 100 times, it's going to be a lifelong trauma. So, you know, do what you have to do. And if you can't do it for yourself, at least do it for your kids. And then eventually we hope you'll get to you could do it for yourself.
Absolutely.
Okay. Did I
Tough.
forget anything?
I don't think so. Tough stuff.
It's very
Tough
tough
stuff.
stuff. It's very tough stuff. And it's unfortunate. And I think, you know, you go back to the beginning of the relationship when things were great and you had no idea he was a narcissist and that he had no concept of anybody else's needs. And I think occasionally the narcissist really doesn't get why everybody's mad at him. All I did was try to get my needs met. Yeah, but you were willing to step on anybody to do it. Yeah.
All right. A lot to think about.
Yeah, just I want to add one more thing. If you have a spouse who either gets arrested or a boyfriend who gets arrested, usually they will get sent to a domestic violence group. There's one particular model that's been popular in the country for 20 years, and it was developed in Minnesota. It's called the Duluth model. And it does group, which means the men hold each other accountable, you know, when they hear the stories and of, you know, my hand accidentally hit her face. They hold each other accountable, which is very helpful for them. And it gives them a chance to talk about their growing up, which of course is involved here. And however, they will complain about having to go to the group like it was the end of the world. But once they get there, usually they do get somewhat invested, all right?
All right.
And the idea is to help them with the denial so that they can possibly finish. Unfortunately, what the domestic violence people will tell you is that bullying people has been very helpful for them, usually throughout their life. And it's hard for them to get to the point where they understand that doing that isn't going to get them what they're used to getting. It's only going to get them left alone.
Okay.
All right?
A lot to think about. Tough subject.
Tough subject.
Tough issue. But it's important that we put out information like this for those of you that are struggling with these issues in your breakup.
So when somebody mentions gaslighting, you can say Oscar and Ingrid Bergman. All right.
Okay, and of course, if you want to get our help personally, just go to my website, askcraig.net. Sign up for the coaching option that works best for you. I do email coaching and I do Skype. And of course, Coach Margaret is available for Skype coaching.
If you feel that I can be helpful to you, please sign up.
Just click on Margaret on the top of the website to do that. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
I'm Coach Margaret.
And we will talk with you soon.
To get my help personally, go to askcraig.net and click on Schedule Coaching and choose the option that works best for you. I do email coaching or Skype. To schedule a coaching with Margaret, click on Margaret on the top of the page and order a Skype with her. For the Knowledge Creative Healing course, click on the link at the top of the page and click Get Started Now.